The Lost Tapes of Ed Gein, a new Friday the 13th video game, and the word on the street from Ted of Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium, all on this Friday edition of Spill the Guts.
I like it spooky.
Hello and welcome to your weekend. My name is Clint and I am 1/3 of the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast, which brings you a feature horror news, reviews, interviews, and entertainment show every other week, as well as this brief tri-weekly news blitz roundup every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today is Friday, June 9th, and this just in. As reported by BloodyDisgusting.com, real-life killer and grave robber Ed Gein was the inspiration for several horror movie villains, including Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs, Norman Bates from Psycho, and Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And Gein's horrific crimes will be profiled in the 4-episode true crime docuseries Psycho: The Lost Tapes of Ed Gein from MGM+. Directed and executive produced by James Buddy Day, who you might know from Blumhouse's Compendium of Horror or Fall River, the docuseries will premiere on MGM Plus in September, and in addition, Amazon and MGM Studios Distribution will distribute the series internationally. This MGM Plus original docuseries follows the horrifying grave robber and serial killer Ed Gein, otherwise known as the Plainfield Ghoul and the Mad Butcher. For years, filmmakers, journalists, and scholars have tried to unravel the mind of this notorious killer, and with new reveals and never-before-heard recordings, viewers will be transported to the late 1950s Middle America and submerged in Gein's perverse mind. The series explores Gein's upbringing and twisted relationship with his mother, which famously inspired Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, his early grave robbing, the murders leading up to his arrest, and the police's discovery of his terrifying house of horrors, all accompanied by the brand new revelations revealed in the recordings. Michael Wright, head of MGM Plus, says, quote, "The gripping and disturbing docuseries shines a light on an infamous chapter in our true crime history. Psycho: The Lost Tapes of Ed Gein takes an in-depth look at not only the life of one of the most notorious serial killers of our time, but also explores the impact his crimes had on both the victims and our culture."
There's a legend round here. A killer buried, but not dead.
This story came to my attention first from the History of Horror Facebook group with an article they shared from Friday the 13th, thefranchise.com, and reports that while recently at a Camp Crystal Lake reunion, legendary composer Harry Manfredini teased that a new Friday the 13th video game will be coming soon. With the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise finally starting to clear up and a new TV series headed to Peacock next year, you're probably wondering where that leaves any future video game adaptations of the franchise. Well, according to longtime series composer Harry Manfredini, there's apparently something new in the works as we speak. Rely on Horror's William Lockwood recently attended Camp Nobi Bosco's Crystal Lake reunion event, where he met up with Manfredini to talk about his experience composing the scores for the Friday the 13th series, as well as the 2017 game by Ilphonic and Gun Interactive. According to Manfredini, he'll be working on the music for a new, as yet announced Friday the 13th game. Manfredini says that the new game has a different developer this time around and will feature more realistic looking characters. It will also apparently not be the asymmetrical multiplayer vein of the previous game, though he couldn't elaborate on the details. And it is now that time once again to pause for station identification as we hear from our podcast network, the PFPN.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepffpn.com. Thanks for listening.
And now, to celebrate the fact that it's Friday, we check in with our man about town, Ted, from Ted's Marvelous Custom Gumball Emporium, with the word on the street.
All right now, for all you boppers out there in the big city, all you street people with an ear for the action,
send the word.
Happy Friday, folks. It's Ted here, the Gumball guy, with the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast, Underground News. This week we got a couple things for you. Number one, for all of you that have no money because you buy things that you shouldn't buy, such as myself and the other guys from I Like It Spooky, Myers is now selling NECA figures. All horror-related NECA is now being sold at Myers. It's kind of neat. It's kind of cool. Unfortunately, it's why I'm broke. It's why we're all broke. So sad. Now the next little bit, the internet is buzzing right now with John Carpenter saying that he could possibly do a sequel to The Thing. Not sure how I feel about this. Not sure how anybody else feels about this, if it's going to happen or if it's not going to happen. However, question, do you think it's too late for this sequel or do you think it's long overdue? I'm just torn on this one. I don't know what to think about it. Sounds cool. It's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen as far as practical effects. Just a fantastic movie. But however, is it too late for this? Should it be done? Should it not be done? I just don't know how I feel about this. I think we'll leave it to the experts at the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast. Maybe they can cast some light on it. Ted here. Going back to you, Clint.
Thanks for the weekend word, Ted. Tying both of your topics together real quick, NECA will be unveiling their ultimate dog creature from The Thing later this year, and I typically shop at Myers, so now I know I can grab it there. As far as the spooky boys from the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast being experts, well, I appreciate the compliment, but I'll leave it up to the masses to tune in wherever they get their podcasts and judge for themselves. In fact, be sure to listen in this Sunday to catch the latest feature episode of the show where we discuss the 1977 William Shatner cult classic Kingdom of the Spiders. And that does it for this Friday edition of Spill the Guts. Don't forget, you can find the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Make sure to answer Ted's question about The Thing too, or ask us anything you need to know at ilikeitspookypod@gmail.com, and I will talk to you again this coming Monday on another edition of Spill the Guts.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?